Hey everyone, Donut here. So the video I did of the Parker police officer did pretty well last night, so I might just make this a daily thing because it's something that I enjoy talking about. And the one I want to talk about today is something that I've been wanting to discuss for a long time. It's one of those that causes a lot of hurt in the butt area, and it gets a lot of people upset, and it's absolutely going to kill my like to dislike ratio on this channel. Not to mention it also cost the taxpayers of Charlotte I think it was $6 or $7 million from the riots that ensued after this shooting. But let's go ahead and talk about Keith Scott. When the Keith Scott shooting took place, this was one of the first weeks that I started working with Blue Lives Matter, contributing some articles to them, and I covered every single bit of it from when he got shot to when they released the figures on the $5 million of damage that was done to the city of Charlotte because of the riot. I just want to watch the shooting, commentate again on everything that's happening. Before we get into the shooting, though, I do want to point out that it is the mainstream media's fault that the riots happened. And it was also people jumping to conclusions before any of the facts were out. That's what contributed to the riots, and it was such a clusterfuck. Holy crap, man! So I kind of want to start out with what led up to the riots that first night he was shot. He was shot by police. No one knew the details. The only family member that saw what happened was his wife, which we'll look at the cell phone footage that she took. About an hour after he was shot, a female who said that she was his daughter, I still don't know if it was confirmed if it was his daughter or not, released a cell phone stream on Facebook that was viewed like 500,000 times within the first hour. It was crazy. Where she's berating police, saying they tased my daddy, then they shot him in cold blood. He was sitting in his car. He was disabled. He was just waiting for his son to get off the bus, like all sorts of stuff. Everyone lost their freaking minds and believed everything this girl was saying, apparently. We'll watch a little bit of the stream, and heavy language warning, not for me from this.
Police just shot my daddy 4 times for being black. Look at these bitches.
I just want to know what gun.
Look at these coons. They tased him first and then shot him.
Okay,
Talk about he got a motherfucking gun. You white fucker. He didn't got no motherfucking gun. You know damn well my motherfucking daddy ain't had no motherfucking gun. Yeah, fuck 12. Fuck 12. Fuck your daughters. Fuck your damn wives. Fuck your mamas. Fuck y'all dogs. Y'all know y'all white crackers fuck dogs.
No, they fuck horses. They
and
fuck horses.
motherfucking horses. No, the women
horses.
fuck horses.
So that's the only piece of information that we have about the shooting so far. Based off of that, so many mainstream news outlets released the story as disabled black man shot by police while sitting in his car reading a book. Those were the headlines. They changed them later, but as soon as it released, those were the headlines, and it pissed everyone off. That's where the riots came from. And the riots went on for 4 or 5 days, $4-point-something million worth of damage being done. The National Guard had to be called in. North Carolina went into a state of emergency. Not to mention the next day, there were so many millions of views on videos of people saying, oh, look, they planted a gun on Keith Scott. They planted a gun on him. And it was an officer dropping his black gloves while he was trying to, render aid to Scott.
Like he's trying to cause a distraction, right? No gun. No gun on the ground. Look close. That is in slow motion and I can see it. Now watch this. Slow motion. Boom, gun drops out of the sky. Now that's only one gun right there. That's the first gun I saw when I posted in the other video. Now you got people putting gloves on. What's going on? Why are they messing with the crime scene already? Another gun drop.
People lost their minds over this, and everyone was saying, oh, they planted a gun. What's his fucking name? The guy that I think it's Phil, the guy that runs the Advised show, 560-something thousand followers, he still has the video up saying, look, he likes to call police race soldiers, but he says, look, these race soldiers planted guns on Keith Scott. Here's evidence right here, even though it's been proven by numerous people and agencies and investigations that it's not true. If you want to see more videos on it, I did some videos for Blue Lives Matter involving this whole incident, and I'll put the links in the comments below. We don't enable comments on the Blue Lives Matter YouTube channel because I've gotten so many death threats on there, I just really don't care to read them anymore. CNN altered the video to look like police never asked him to drop the gun, and I'll go ahead and show you that as well.
Released this dramatic cell phone video taken by his wife, Rakaya Scott, showing her pleas to her husband and to the officers. Be forewarned, it is graphic.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon. He has no weapon. Keith, don't you do it.
All right, so Keith Scott did have a gun on him. It was a stolen gun. He's a felon, so he can't even carry a weapon in the first place. In the early 90s in South Carolina, he was charged with multiple offenses, including check fraud, assault with intent to kill, carrying a concealed weapon. He moved to Texas, shot a dude there, was sentenced to 7 years for that. Last October, his wife, the one in the cell phone video, filed for protection order against him. And on the paperwork, she wrote, "He hit my 8-year-old in the head 3 times with his fist. Then he kicked me and threatened to kill us last night with his gun. He said to us he is a killer, and we should know that." Anyways, that's the person who police shot, this disabled black man. What led up to this is there were 2 undercover officers in an unmarked car looking for a wanted suspect, and they had happened to park their car beside Keith Scott's truck, and he was in the truck smoking weed, and they didn't even care about that. They wanted to find the wanted guy, but they saw that Keith Scott was carrying a gun around, while he was smoking weed, which is illegal in North Carolina, and they wanted to investigate further, but they didn't want to jump out of the car, not wearing any kind of plates or armor or anything, and dudes start shooting at him. So they went a few parking lots over, they put their plates on, and then they came back. One of the officers came up from behind him. Some of the officers pulled up in their unmarked car in front of them. They got out and they immediately started telling him that they were police officers. He gets out of the car holding a gun in his hand, and this is what his wife catches. You know what? Before we start this, count how many times police tell him to drop the gun.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon. He has no weapon. Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He didn't do anything. He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI. He's not going to do anything to you guys. He just took his medicine.
Drop the gun!
Keith, don't let them break the windows. Come on out the car.
Drop the gun!
Keith, don't do it.
Drop the gun!
Keith, get out the car. Keith, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Keith, don't you do it.
All right, so
Did you shoot him? Did you?
I counted 17 times that they told him to drop the gun. All right, so here's the dash cam footage of the officer pulling up on scene. They're already telling him, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun. Scott is in that car right there. He's sitting in there. They know he has a gun. Drop the gun, drop the gun. You can hear his wife from the dash cam. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Drop the gun. He's still sitting in there. All right, so he's getting out of the car. You hear his wife say, "Keith, don't you do it." He won't drop the gun, and so they end up shooting him. These are the 2 officers, the guy in the red shirt and then the black officer. These are the ones that everyone accused of planting a gun on Scott. All right, look, he's getting gloves out of his pocket. He hands them to his partner. That's when his partner dropped one of them. So now we move on to the body cam footage. The officers, like I said, they coordinated pulling up on Scott. So a few of them came from behind the apartment complex. That's Scott's car right there. He talks to this one officer. I'm assuming that he's like, "Hey, is that the guy with the gun?" "Yeah, he's got a gun in there. I'm looking at him right now." So the officer who's wearing the body camera takes out his baton, and he's trying to get into the window of the SUV so that they can get Scott out of there. So he takes his baton out. See, he's hitting the SUV. That's when Scott exits the driver's side of the car. You can see him right there. He's got an ankle holster on. He's got his gun in his hand. And see, that's after they'd already yelled, drop the gun 15, 16 times. He had a gun in his hand. It was confirmed he had a gun in his hand by several officers. DNA evidence showed he had a gun in his hand. People still rioted, still did $5 million worth of damage to Charlotte. I made this video to show people how easy it is to shoot someone if you have a gun down by your side, which for some reason people don't believe that you can shoot somebody from that position. Arms down by his side can still be just as dangerous as a person pointing a gun at somebody, okay? This is weird watching myself, but this was my point. All right, is everybody watching? Okay, watch. See my gun? Look. See how it's down by my side? Watch this, watch. See, and that just completely defeats the whole argument of, well, he had his gun down by his side. Why did police have to shoot him? That is the Keith Scott shooting broken down. If you want to read further into it, I wrote an article that got about 80,000 shares, I believe, called Proof That the Media is Inciting a Race War. I'll put that in the comments below. I'll put that link down there. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and answer all of them, every single one of them. Everyone have a good day.
A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones. But their caravans were being raided in a forest north of Rangoon by a bandit. So we went looking for the stones. But in 6 months, we never met anyone who traded with him. One day, I saw a child playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine. The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Well, because he thought it was good sport. Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.